What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to your first time here. Well, guys, I've got a question. What if everything we've been told, everything we have seen about the Ukraine and Russia war and the possibility of NATO, United States getting involved in a direct war with Russia, nuclear war, and all these things we've been hearing about on the mainstream news channels, but mostly on the prepping channels, is all bullshit? What if this whole thing was already pre-planned, say by the World Economic Forum, the powers that be? What if the war, I'm not saying there isn't a war, but these people may have gotten together and had a big meeting, all these world leaders, and said, we're going to have this war here in Ukraine, we're going to do this, that, people are going to die, they don't care because they want depopulation anyway, and it'd be big money for the military-industrial complex, and at the end you can take this territory or this territory, but it's all pre-planned, it's all deliberately being done to lead us to a certain point, and that is this globalism. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot with the economy. That's why they're spending and spending and spending, because they want the economy to crash, they want the dollar to crash, they want this great reset. But what if this war we've been talking about and fearing, a wider spread war that could involve even nuclear weapons? We've talked about this a lot on this channel, and a lot of other channels have talked about this also. But what if there's no real possibility of that? What if that's not going to happen? What if it's all been predetermined, the outcome's been predetermined, everything has been laid out, but it's designed to lead us down certain roads and to take certain actions and think certain things, i.e., globalism, world government. After all, if I'm not mistaken, Klaus Schwab said that Vladimir Putin was a young global leader. Also, is it Donald Trump's daughter a young global leader? Is it most of these governors and everyone, all young global leaders, has been taken in by the World Economic Forum and trained to bring in this globalism campaign? So why wouldn't, these wars we've been seeing now, for the most part, be already pre-planned to lead us down certain avenues, to keep our attention looking over here and not looking over here? I think that the main threat we face right now is the actual invasion at the southern border. I mean, it's obvious it's happening right now. Plenty of proof of that. You can go down and look at the border, stay a few days, and you'll see the invasion. So that's definitely happening. We're being invaded right now. And I think that is a much bigger threat than World War III, in my opinion, because I think that this whole World War III thing, I don't know for sure, I'm not saying for sure, but it definitely looks like this whole thing could have been pre-planned, and they keep talking about escalations and things, and if you cross this line, we're going to do this, and it's going to fly. But so far, after over 2 years now, this been going on, we crossed every red line, everything's been happening, but still yet, we're not in all-out kinetic World War III. And you would think by now, if this wasn't all already pre-planned, that it would have spread it out into a wider war with Russia. However, it hasn't. It's been more kinetic war involving U.S. weapons, which is good for the United States military-industrial complex, because they're going to make trillions of dollars and billions of dollars off of those weapons that they're selling to the United States government to being shipped to Ukraine. And as far as these leaders, people will think that they don't want to lose, some of their people, but they don't care, because these globalists, they want depopulation anyway. They think we have too many people anyway, so they don't care if a couple of million people actually die in Russia and Ukraine. As long as they stay in power, it's all been worked out, they're not going to lose their position, it's going to be good for their economies as far as that goes in the long run, especially the military-industrial complex that actually runs the United States government and a lot of the world, actually. So you would think that by now, if this was all real hostilities and not already worked out, in the back room globalist meeting with all these world leaders and these globalists having everything already worked out and planned out, You would think that with all the red lines that's been crossed and everything, that by now it would have spread out into a more wider kinetic war by the United States and NATO. I mean, it's been going on now for how long? Over 2 years now. I think it's close to 3 years now. I've actually lost count. It's been going on so long, and I've heard so many different things talking about if this happens, Russia's going to do this and Russia's going to do that. The United States is going to go in with troops and fight Russia in Ukraine, going to go in and invade Russia, blah, 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 blah. And still yet, all we are hearing is this might happen, this could happen, not this is actually happening. So what's actually going on? You know, like I said, is this all been pre-planned behind the closed doors to keep everyone occupied, to make money for the military-industrial complex, to lower the population? I mean, if you look at war, it actually ticks all the checkpoints of what the globalists want. They can make money through weapon sales. They can lower the population through actual death of the military on both sides. I mean, they will fund both sides. They've been proven before, so they don't care about people actually dying in these wars. They don't care to lose a couple of million people in wars because they think we're overpopulated anyway. They want depopulation. So a few less people in the world is a plus for them. If you look at it all the way around, it's a plus for the globalists and the military-industrial complex. So it sure looks like to me that this has all been pre-planned. I could be totally wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think I'm totally wrong? Do you think this was all pre-planned? Russia, United States, China, all the globalists, Zelensky in Ukraine, I mean, did they get together and have a big meeting and Skype together or whatever and figure out we're going to have this war break out at the end, you're going to have this and this and this, we're going to make a lot of money, we're going to lower the population, we're going to keep everyone frightened around the world, especially the United States, worrying about war, worried about nukes and things like that. All the prepping channels, one in particular, pretty much every video is talking about World War III is going to happen now, right now it's on, the missiles are in the air. Could that all be on purpose to keep everyone not looking at the economy, not looking at the southern border where we actually have an invasion? Could it be that it's already predetermined that Donald Trump gets to be president of the United States again, to actually get elected or selected and be president again? I think so. I think that's going to happen because the way everything's looking, the way things are being said right now, the way Trump is a big supporter, puppet of Israel, more than likely he's going to be elected, selected. And then when that happens, we have all these people, all these millions of people that's came across the border over the last few years. They're getting their prepaid debit cards, housing, medical. They're being treated like kings in the United States. And is it already predetermined to bring all these people through and then let Donald Trump take office and then cut all the benefits out? Not really benefits, they're just handouts, what it actually is. So these illegals can cut their debit cards out, cut their cell phones off, take them out of their housing, stop giving free medical care, stop giving free everything, and start actually deporting these people. If that happens, we have millions here in the United States. If they was cut off from everything, they're going to not be able to have food. I'm not saying they should have. I would cut them off right now if it was up to me. But if they get cut off, if Donald Trump goes into office and they get cut off from all the freebies, all the housing, thrown out on the street, no way to buy food, no way to do anything because it's been taken away instantly by Donald Trump. These people are going to go absolutely insane. And they're going to have those people, and then the left will also go insane, you know, Antifa and all the leftists. So definitely civil unrest in the United States is 100% guaranteed either way, but I think it's meant to happen because I think Donald Trump's going to be allowed to be president again. and I think it's all on purpose. I don't know if Donald Trump is even in on it or not. He may not even be in on it, but it's still, in my opinion, it's the plan. But Donald let millions come over here, tens of millions of illegals come over here from every country around the world pretty much. I think like 178 countries, 176 different countries. Let these people come over here, put them on essentially welfare, free housing, free debit cards, free food, do whatever they want to do, free medical care. I mean, they got it made right now, most of these people do. And then when Donald Trump gets elected or selected, unbeknownst if he knows this plan or not, but if he goes in, the left is going to go crazy. We're going to see the mainstream media like CNN, probably Fox News, MSNBC, pushing these people who are already on the edge into violence. We saw this before. So it's going to be a constant bombardment from the media, from the left politicians, Democrat politicians, to push these people into violence. If you have all these illegals over here and they get everything cut off, all the funds cut off, all the cell phones, all the prepaid debit cards, everything, all the housing, and they have nothing but being rounded up and sent back to wherever they came from, it's going to be violence right there because there's millions of these people over here illegally. And if only say out of, I think the last time I saw it was like 20 or 30 million over here since Joe Biden took office. It came across as the estimate. Different estimates, I've seen different estimates, and the official estimate's always a lot lower than what it actually is. So let's say there's 10 million illegals over here since Joe Biden has took office and been in office. And those 10 million, out of those 10 million, let's say that 500,000 resort to violence, extreme violence. And we've heard, about Chinese military-aged males, most of them are military-aged males, people from the Middle East, from nations that are hostile to the United States, lots of terrorists already over here. But you take and you say, out of everyone that's came over, 500,000 decide to fight back, decide to take up arms, decide to take the country. They could take large areas, they could hold cities and things like that pretty easily. Getting weapons in the United States is easy, actually. If you can put a few ingredients together, you can make explosives and things like that, no problem at all. Booby traps, and these people have been trained, especially these military people that came through the southern borders, already been trained to make explosive weapons, booby traps, to use firearms, to do all kinds of different things, to communications, set up defenses, groups and things. And just 500 of those people, plus, all the Antifa. We saw what Antifa did, burning the cities down, the police stations down. This is a few people. Can you imagine if 500,000 to 1 million illegals decided to do that, work together, or just in smaller groups? You may have a group over here of Iranians, a group of Chinese, a group of Russians, a group of Antifa, all working separately, but with the end goal of destroying the United States. And you're talking about a lot of civil unrest in the United States. And when these things happen, a lot of times they will expand, especially if you have like the mainstream media pushing this narrative, pushing these people to violence. It'd be horrendous. It really would. Widespread civil unrest, and it could bring the country down to its knees. Because if you attack if you know what you're doing, and these people attack things like communications, power production in the United States, water treatment facilities, hospitals and things like that. I mean, they organized, and 500,000 people in the United States organized, wanting to bring the United States down. Even if they weren't all working together, they work in smaller groups separately, which would make them more difficult to actually stop. I mean, they could destroy this country pretty quickly, actually. I mean, it would be, the country's wide open. And if the border wide open, they can come walk right in, and all of our critical infrastructure is just right here for them to do what they want to with. You can take out, power production pretty easily. Water treatment facilities pretty easily. And these people have been trained, no doubt. A lot of these people are just criminals, but some of these people are no doubt terrorists. They already had their targets set up. They could be, like I said, Chinese military. Just came across the border, already had their targets figured out how they're going to attack those. I already know the vulnerabilities. And when Donald Trump takes office, we're going to see, I think, it all explode into mass civil unrest. And I think that is the main threat that we face right now, and not a kinetic war with Russia, World War III. I'm beginning to think that is already predetermined, pre-planned. It's a show to get everyone to look over here and to worry about Russia, to worry about nukes, while at the same time the border's wide open, the enemy's coming right in through the gate. The gate's been left wide open. And then when Donald Trump takes office, which I think he's going to, Donald Trump will be the next president, I think. Every sign points to that. And he may be on it. He may know what's going to happen. I don't really think so. I think that they're getting it all set up because it's all part of the plan. And I don't know for sure if Trump isn't on it or not. I don't really think that he is, but I think he's going to be used and put in place. And then we're going to have this mass chaos. It's going to spread. It's going to be spread through the mainstream media. It's going to be spread through the Democrat left, far left politicians. The celebrities are going to encourage this, and it's going to, all hell's going to break loose, in my opinion. That's what I think's going to happen. So you better get prepared. You better get ready, because they can take out critical infrastructure very, very quickly. Cell phone towers, the main substations for power, water treatment facilities, transportation, train tracks can be damaged very, very easily if you want to do that, stopping all that. I mean, they can do lots of things to bring the United States down to its knees. Production, I mean, if you have just the power that gets knocked out for any length of time, it's going to be chaos. So many things. This country is so vulnerable, especially if you're already on the inside and already have training. I mean, they could bring this country down to its knees really, really easily. But that could be part of the plan. And then, you know, when they have all this chaos, all this death, everything that's went on, then they can come in, whether it be Donald Trump or someone else, after Donald Trump's term is over with, they can come in and offer the solution. And the solution, we can bring peace, we can put everything back to make it all safer and better, but you have to give us full, total power, full, total control. Digital currency and all the whole world economic form system, you'll own nothing and be happy. You have to give us all that, everything we want, and then we will give you peace. We can fix this. And people will beg for it. People will want it because they want that feeling of safety, even if they're just trading one enemy for another one. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm the Creekmore Matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.